So I'm here to show you guys some methods for effectively tying your belt and to hopefully make it a little bit less confusing and just give this video as a resource for you to go back to if you're having trouble remembering how to tie your belt. So I'm going to start with the most traditional method that we've done in the Powers Martial Arts School for many years. We basically get the ends, pull them together, run the thumb through to find the middle. Put the middle just below the belly button. We're going to take left hand side around first and grab it so that I can then continue to pull that same side all the way around to the middle. Hold it in place as the right hand side wraps around all the way around very neatly, all the way back to the middle. Now I need to fold this top end around everything to lock it in place. Common mistake is that people will, when they do this, they'll try to use just the end of the belt and do it, but then the belt gets all loose as you're doing it and it starts to all come apart. So instead, I like to take my hand and fold it up at the base of this slack here, just right through like that. Then I can pull it through nice and easy, nice and neat. Now I tie the belt. Now this is important: when you tie and you tighten it, you pull it tight. Pull it to the sides. Don't pull it up and down or reverse which way it goes, because then the whole thing comes undone or gets very sloppy. We want to pull it to the sides nice and tight, and we want it to actually push against the abs for resistance, so it's part of the training. Now we hold the ends out to see if they're even. If they aren't even, like here, one's shorter, well, I need to twist both ends in the direction of the shorter one, and now the whole belt twists back to the middle, and now it's nice and even. And finally, to tie the knot, what I want to do is find the end that's higher and the end that's lower. I call this the top part and the bottom part. When I tie the knot, what we do is we do the top part dives over the bottom part and then pops back up through the hole, and then we snap the knot nice and tight, again snapping out to the sides, not up and down. Common mistake too is you get confused which side goes where. You start to tie the knot perfectly, but then you pull the ends the wrong direction, and see how it gets all confused? The knot itself gets confused. So we need to make sure that it goes top part over top, up through the hole, and then pulls to both sides, the correct sides out. Now, a slightly easier variation of this, especially for younger students that might have a hard time understanding how to trade the belt off behind their back to get a nice even wrap around, is instead of finding the middle, we find one of the ends. We're going to glue the end to our left hip or our left side here. Common mistake is that people will glue it with the end pointing forward, and then the whole belt will be backwards. But we actually want the end to face backwards. And now I go all the way around my whole torso, holding on to it over here. Continues around, nice and straight, nice and even. And then around one more time. So we actually will start on the left hip and wrap it around our bodies 2 whole times. Once we get back to the middle, just like before, we're going to fold it under at the base and then pull it up from the top. Dig out that end we started with, even them out, pull side to side nice and tight, top part over top. Secret detail: whichever end stays still and doesn't do the moving, like this one does all the moving, it jumps over, it comes back up. The other part that gets jumped over If I actually make it face to the floor as I tie the knot, it actually makes the knot automatically tie nice and neat without twisting. See, watch, if I don't face it downwards, if I face it upwards, and I do the knot, see how I get a little twist in the knot right here? So, point it to the floor, top part over top, and pull up underneath. Snap it to the sides, nice, neat square knot, perfect belt tie. Now, you may see other schools do something slightly different. A lot of schools will do what I consider the fast and sloppy method, which might be useful if you're in a tournament and you're not very good at belt tying and your belt comes off during a sparring match and you need to hurry up and get it on so you don't delay the tournament at all. What they do, they find the middle, just like before, but when they go around, instead of it being nice and neat, they just trade sides and bring it back around to the middle. Notice how it creates this sloppy twist in the back. But a lot of people don't care about that too much, and then they do one over the other, fold it up through just like everything else we've done, pull it out to the sides, make sure it's even, top part over top, pull it up through. Sometimes people that do this method of belt tying don't do top part over top, but they do kind of the opposite. They do bottom part, hops up from underneath, and dives back down through the hole, which also works. It creates a nice square knot. But again, we have this uneven twist in the back. And my philosophy is just that if you're good enough at your belt tying, you don't have to cheat and do the sloppy version. You can still just as fast or almost as fast overlap them nice and neat, tuck your end up through, tie your knot, either way that you want to tie it. See, I did the reverse. Bottom part hops up, or top part over top. Last variation that I'm going to show, and it can work with either the sloppy, quick method that other schools use, or our nice, neat, clean method. And it doesn't matter which way you tie the knot, as long as it's correct. But once I start to tighten the knot, before I go super tight, I'm just going to tuck the ends in between these two layers here on both sides. Make sure I keep the ends nice and straight as they go down through. Now snap it tight, and so not only do I have my nice clean square knot, but it's also locked in between the layers of the belts. The layers of the belt. We call this the super lock variation. It creates a flatter square knot, which is nice for grappling, and this version of the belt tie rarely comes undone unless you want it to. So if you have time to do the super lock variation, that would be recommendable. Then you won't have to interrupt your training to constantly have to retie your belt, unless you like to retie your belt just for the sake of practice. So anyway, parents, I hope this is helpful for you if you have young children that are having a difficult time with this. But ultimately, students, if you are watching this, remember that the belt is yours, not your mom's, not your dad's. So ultimately, it is your responsibility to be able to tie your belt. So enjoy this video, good luck, and train hard.